Hi, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. This is the Business Guy channel. I'm the CEO of Lawyers Limited, PLLC, a law firm based in Washington, D.C., coming to you from my home in sunny Florida. And today we're diving into a fascinating and relevant topic. Does Elon Musk need asset protection from lawsuits? Now, I know what you might be thinking. Elon Musk is one of the richest people in the world. He's got billions of dollars, can afford the best lawyers. So why would he need asset protection? Well, stick around because by the end of this video, you'll understand why even someone like Elon Musk might consider asset protection strategies, and more importantly, what strategies everyday people like you and I can do to protect our assets. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out any more tips on strategies to protect and grow your wealth. Let's go ahead and get started. So who needs asset protection more? You or Elon Musk? In fact, I set up asset protection trusts for a living, and I always tell my clients this. Someone has, let's say, $5 million in assets. That's what they have. And someone else has $100 million in assets. Okay. Now, if somebody has $5 million and they get hit with a $5 million lawsuit, you know what'll happen? They're going to wipe those people out. But if somebody has $100 million and gets hit with a $5 million lawsuit, it really won't affect their lifestyle that much. That's why we say asset protection is really more for medium net worth individuals than the uber rich. The key is to protect your assets so that no matter what happens, you're still in control. You still have access to your money, but your opponent at law does not. So here's why asset protection matters for billionaires like Elon Musk. All right, let's start with the basics. Why would someone like Elon Musk with a net worth in the hundreds of billions need asset protection? First, let's address the elephant in the room. Elon Musk has the resources to hire the best lawyers in the world. He's made that clear in his own words. In one of his own tweets where he was recruiting lawyers to join his company, he said this, quote, "We are building a legal team that will fight for free speech and transparency. We will not back down even if the chances are against us. This is about the future of open discourse, and if you believe in these principles, join us in the fight. The cost of silence is far greater than the cost of standing up for what's right." That's a quote. And so in another tweet, he added, "If you're about to file a lawsuit against X, please let us know in advance so we can hire the lawyers too. In fact, we fight for what is right, even if we lose principle over profit," end quote. So clearly from those quotes, Musk isn't afraid of a fight. But here's the thing, even with the best lawyers, lawsuits can be unpredictable. Judges can make rulings that go against you. And in the US, where Musk has a significant portion of his assets, as you know, courts also have broad powers to seize assets to satisfy judgments. For example, if a judge rules against Musk in a major lawsuit, they could potentially seize his, say, shares in Tesla, SpaceX, or other companies. And for you, on the other hand, and me, we might be able to set up a Cook Islands Asset Protection Trust, move our liquid assets, including our stock portfolio, in a strong, safe bank in Switzerland inside of this structure, and no U.S. court can touch it. So people like you and I are more of an ability to protect our assets from legal attack than Elon Musk. And of course, $5 million would wipe a lot of us out. So it's much easier to set up an asset protection structure for us normal folks. And while Musk has the financial resources to fight these battles, asset protection isn't just about money. It's about controlling and having access to your money. It's about ensuring that your assets remain yours, really no matter what happens in court. So while Musk may not be worried about losing his fortune, he already is protecting his assets from being tied up in lengthy legal battles in ways you may not have thought of. And that's where asset protection comes in. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's call this next part of our talk the power of deep pockets versus asset protection. Now, let's talk about the difference between having deep pockets and having asset protection. If you're a billionaire like Elon Musk, you can afford to fight lawsuits for years, even decades. Hire the best lawyers, most expensive lawyers, the law firm in the ivory tower in New York City, and you can hire the best lawyers to appeal unfavorable rulings. You can drag out cases until your opponents run out of money and patience. And here's another tip. You might get hit with a lawsuit that you think you can win, but here's the catch. Think about it. Even if you win, as you know, lawsuits are expensive and time-consuming, and they can detract you from your core business and damage your reputation. Your stuff gets posted online, and your clients won't do business with you because they think the bad things your opponent said about you is true about you. And I've seen it before. We've had clients desperately trying to run their businesses, but their eyes are constantly fixed on the rearview mirror, worried about the attack that might be or already has come after them. And then once you're sued, there are written interrogatories that can be as broad as the day is long. And one tactic lawyers use, if you've ever been on a lawsuit, they use to wear down the defendant, is to use slightly modified boilerplate sets of interrogatories that might take several days to answer. So instead of running your business, you have to sit down for hours on end answering question after question. And to add insult to injury, these are not questions that help you. I mean, some people have the misguided belief that this is their chance to get their side out and to express themselves, or to tell your side of the story. No, the questions are designed for the enemy, not you. The questions are designed to give the plaintiff's attorney information about you in order to get their hands in your pocket. Questions like list the names, addresses, and birth dates of your current and former employees. I'm just reading a quote from an interrogatory. Then they proceed to dredge up former employees who are disgruntled at you for firing them to testify against you. So here's another question they might ask. Provide a detailed list and description of all services that you provide and products you sell, including the names of individuals who actually performed the listed services corresponding to performances, and a detailed list of what they actually did in performance on behalf of the plaintiff. So describe in detail all processes you use to establish and comply with the services you provided or implemented on behalf of the plaintiff. They'll subpoena your spouse. They'll subpoena your key employees. They'll threaten to depose your kids, all in an attempt to intimidate you and get into your head with the real end goal of getting you to give your money to them. And if you lose, the consequences can be even more severe because they can get even more information. Okay, now back to Elon. For example, let's say somebody sues Musk for $10 billion. Even if he has money to pay, that's $10 billion less he can invest in companies or use to pursue his vision for the future to fly 1 million people to Mars. So what does Elon Musk do for asset protection? Well, in addition to having oodles of money to fight off the bad guys, he has separated components of his holdings into different companies, into little cubby holes. So if somebody sues SpaceX because Elon had a bad day and a rocket engine landed on someone's dining room table, his separate companies, Tesla, X, the Boring Company, Neuralink, XAI, artificial intelligence company, are all separate corporations. So a lawsuit in one of his companies stays in that company, stays in that cubbyhole, and doesn't topple all the rest. So Elon Musk is employing asset protection in that regard. Let's say Elon had a really, really bad day and somebody sued him and took all his companies. Now that might be as unlikely as a pig sprouting wings and flying south for the winter, but at least the space alien, better known as Elon Musk, could call us and have us set up an offshore asset protection trust like we have for thousands of clients, and stick a couple of $1 billion in a Swiss bank account and call it a rainy day fund. Creditors might find it nearly impossible to seize his assets, and he could continue focusing on chilling in his rocket-shaped lounge chair, sipping Mai Tais, looking through his telescope at Mars up there somewhere, dreaming of what could have been. But as Musk himself once said, quote, "The trolls who are suing X, we will now file a thermonuclear lawsuit against you. We will fight for what is right, even if the chances are that we could lose. We will never surrender to the woke mind virus. So this kind of fighting spirit is admirable, but it's risky for the rest of us mere mortals. Asset protection provides a safety net, allowing you to fight for your principles without risking everything you built. So let's talk about some common asset protection strategies. So now that we've established why asset protection matters, even for billionaires, let's talk about some common strategies that you and I can use. Now, here are some strategies that everyday people use to protect their wealth, but they can be scaled up for somebody like Elon Musk. Asset protection trusts. One of the most powerful tools in asset protection is the asset protection trust. And what this is a legal arrangement where you transfer ownership of your assets to a trust, which is managed by a trustee for the benefit of your chosen beneficiaries. For example, let's say if Elon Musk were like the rest of us, he could set up an offshore asset protection trust in the jurisdiction like the Cook Island, in Nevis, Cook Island south of Hawaii, Nevis in the Caribbean. So these jurisdictions have strong asset protection laws that make it nearly impossible for U.S. courts to seize your assets. In fact, you're looking at the guy right here who has set up more Cook Islands asset protection trusts than anyone in the world. No firm has set up more. I've been setting up asset protection structure since 1991. And as I always say, domestic trusts are vulnerable to results-oriented U.S. judges. I mean, if a judge is bent on a certain outcome, and they can twist the law to achieve it. And that's why offshore trusts are so powerful. They're outside of the reach of the U.S. courts or the UK, Canadian, Australian, German courts, or whatever court happens to be down the road from you. So after asset protection trust, the next tool is the limited liability company, or LLC. So another common strategy is to use LLCs to hold assets. For example, if Musk was like you and me, he could create an LLC to own his real estate or other investments, one per property, so that a lawsuit on one property doesn't affect all of them. And if somebody sues the LLC, they can only go after assets owned by that LLC and not Musk's personal wealth. So here's a pro tip. So here's how to protect real estate. Put each piece of real estate into a separate land trust, which we'll talk about next. This gives you privacy of ownership. Then make an LLC the beneficiary of each land trust. Then this provides legal protection. And that adds an extra layer of protection and makes it even harder for creditors to seize your assets. So you have each property in a separate land trust, and that gives privacy of ownership. The beneficiary of each land trust for your rental properties is an LLC. For personal residents, we just keep it in a land trust only, so you have the privacy of ownership. But you still get to keep all your home ownership tax benefits, which is a different category than rental property. So land trust for each property, LLCs as the beneficiary of those trusts for income-producing properties, the ones that you don't live in. Number 3 strategy is equity stripping. Now, this is a strategy where you record a mortgage. This could be an equity line of credit mortgage payable to an LLC that you own that we set up for you. Or you can actually borrow against the assets to reduce their equity. For example, Musk could take out a loan against his Tesla share, making them less attractive to creditors, and stick the proceeds into an offshore trust. Number 4, land trusts. And as we said, land trusts are great for keeping your ownership of real estate private. If somebody, say, searches your name in the county records, they won't find anything. They won't find it. So you essentially own and control the property, but your potential opponents can't find it if they just do a cursory look in the public records. They won't see it. They just type your name in. No, it doesn't own anything. It's not really worth suing, Bill Higgins. So land trust for privacy. Number 5, diversification. Finally, diversification is the key. And again, I'm the CEO of the largest asset protection company in the country, so I come to you with knowledge of this stuff. And by spreading your assets across different classes, there's diversification, like real estate, stock, and bonds, you can reduce the risk of losing every single thing in one lawsuit or financial turndown. So have different asset classes and have them in different legal tools. Okay, next. Does Elon Musk need asset protection? So the answer is, it depends. If Musk is confident in his ability to win every lawsuit and doesn't mind the cost and distraction of legal battles, then maybe he doesn't need it. But if he wants to protect his assets from unpredictable court rulings and ensure his wealth remains intact for future generations, then it's a smart move. And the bottom line is asset protection is not just about money. It's about control and access to your money. It's about peace of mind. It's about ensuring that your assets remain yours no matter what life throws at you. Okay, so the next step, what do you do in your case? Okay, all right, so you've got the knowledge. Now it's time to take action. Knowing, that you should buckle your seatbelt doesn't help. If you get in a car wreck, you have to actually do it. So here's what you should do next. First of all, consult with professionals. Asset protection can be complex, so it's important to work with experienced professionals. And I mean, think about it. If you have an attorney on the other side and they're bent on poking holes in your asset protection strategy, it's got to be done professionally, because if it's not, they'll scourge you. They'll fry you alive. So you want to make sure that it's done professionally. So if you want it done right, and you want somebody who's professional at it, who has done it right for thousands of other people, give us a call. Asset Protection Planners. So assetprotectionplanners.com. Lots more free information there. And if you want to contact us, if you're serious, not curious, you have at least, say, $500,000 in liquid assets, give us a call. Talk to one of our attorneys and consultants. We can help you out. All you have to do is fill out a free consultation form on our website. Okay, next, start small and build gradually. You don't have to do everything at once. So start with simple things like creating LLCs or setting up an asset protection trust, and build from there. Next is stay informed. Laws and regulations, they change. So it's important to stay up to date. So subscribe to our channel for more insights and tips on protecting your wealth, and we'll do our best to keep you up to date. And speaking of subscribing, if you found this video helpful, be sure to also hit the notification bell, because that just informs you when new videos come out, so you can keep on the cutting edge of what's happening and the best way to protect your assets. And your support really helps us create more content like this video. So thanks for watching. And Elon Musk, give us a call if you need asset protection, and you do the same. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.